Hello everyone, today I would like to share how to create a circular timer in Excel. First, we need to insert a partial circle, insert at the desired location, change the fill color and set to no outline. Then press Ctrl 1 to customize the shape. Go to Size and Properties tab, click on Size, choose the height and width accordingly. I would use 8.4 cm for both measures. Set 270-degree rotation and lock the aspect ratio. Next, insert a text box on top of the partial circle. In the Shape Format tab, change its shape to an oval. I prefer no outline. Change its color and resize if necessary. I would use 7.9 for both height and width. Also, lock the aspect ratio. Then move to Text Options, click on Text Box, and set all margins to 0 except for the bottom margin. I would set the bottom margin as 0.6 cm. We might want to type a time and change its font size to check if the oval fits the text nicely. Next, press and hold the Shift key and select both shapes. In the Shape Format tab, click on Align. We should align center and also align middle. Move them to the desired location if necessary. Next, we need 3 buttons. Navigate to the Developer tab and insert a command button. Insert at the desired location. Click on Properties to change the font style. Use Settings and set it to bold with a font size of 24. Click on OK. Next to Caption, type 4 and we should obtain a play button. Resize if necessary. Make sure we move it to the desired location. Then create 2 copies of this button for pause and reset with captions of semicolon and less than symbol respectively. Move the reset button to the desired location as well. Now, press and hold the Shift key and select all the 3 buttons. Then go to the Shape Format tab, click on Align to middle align them. Make sure they are distributed horizontally as well. Then we should group them. Again, press on the Shift key and select Circle. This time, we should center align them. If you want to adjust this text box, press on Ctrl 1 again, go to Text Option, Text Box, and we adjust accordingly. Also, resize if needed. Now, double-click on the button to write a macro. First, we need to disable the button once the timer is initiated. This is to avoid the user accidentally clicking on the button multiple times while the timer is running, as this will cause the timer to loop unexpectedly. Let's reference the button, that is me dot command button 1, and set enable to false. We need a variable, let's say preset timer. This is to be used as the duration. I will make it short, say 5 seconds for this demonstration. Since I allow users to pause at any time, I need a variable to record the remaining time left. Let it be n. Reference the shapes. Use shapes.range to specify the name. In this case, it is text box 2. It is case sensitive. Thus, we must type it exactly as shown in the text box. Let's refer to text frame 2, then the text range, and follow with characters. Now we should have a few conditions. Use an if statement when n equal to 0 or n is a null string. Then n would equal the preset timer. Otherwise, n would be the remaining time itself. Note that n is text, so we need to convert it into a value using calculation. Use the left function to extract the hour component of the time. Take only 2 characters. Use the middle function to extract the minutes starting from the 4th character and taking 2 characters. Use right function to extract seconds, also taking 2 characters. Note that n must be in seconds, so convert hours and minutes to seconds by multiplying the correct factor and add up all these components. And this if statement with an AND if. Next, we need a variable to record the start time. Use the timer function. Another variable, let's call it A, to update the timer. Use a do while statement to run the timer. When the updating time minus the start time is less than n, which is the duration that we set, then we should update the circular timer. We need to advance before making any updates. First, update the partial circle. Reference the shapes. Use shapes.range to specify the name. For this case, it is partial circle 1. We need adjustment.item to adjust the circular bar. Since this is a radial adjustment, use an index of 1. Note that a circle is 360 degrees and the adjustment is based on the time elapsed to the time allocated ratio, which is A minus start divided by the preset timer. Next, reference the text box. Again, we have shapes.range to specify the name, that is text box 2. Use the same method to change the text. Since the timer always operates in seconds, we should use the date add function to convert this number to a time. Seconds is the interval that we need, while the time remaining is the time allocated minus the time elapsed. And the date is simply 0. For a custom format, use the format function and enclose the desired format in a set of quotation marks. Next is to update the timer. Then loop this action as necessary. If you hope to be alert when the time is up, use a beep sound. On the other hand, for the pause button, we can use it to enable the play button when it is clicked. That is set to true. Use AND to terminate the loop. For the reset button, also enable the play button when it is clicked. Then reset the adjustment for the partial circle to 360 degrees. Remember to set the time back to default. For this case, I will have 5 seconds. Then terminate the timer. You see? And back to the spreadsheet. In the developer tab, turn off design mode. Click on the reset button. Let's run the timer to see the result. Click on the play button, the timer runs smoothly and correctly. However, note that the circle bar is still running when the time is up, and the circular bar doesn't fit what we need. We may want to make some adjustment. Use the yellow circle to adjust accordingly. Then back to Visual Basic to amend the code. Take note that when writing the macro for the play button, for the text box, we use this formula to update it. Note that this formula rounds the remaining time to the nearest second. More accurately, we should round up the number. Let's make use of the worksheet function round up. At the end of this formula, place a comma and we should take 0 decimal places. And this round up function with a parenthesis. Then, when the time is up, that is after loop, we should set the time to 0. Also, we might want to consider readjusting the partial circle. If you don't want to have the red bar When the time is up, we should consider a number that is slightly less than 360. Note that this adjustment depends on the size of the partial circle. Let's back to the spreadsheet and run the timer again. Notice the circular box. If this is what we want, we may consider to proceed to the next amendment. If you want to use the reset button to set a new duration, back to Visual Basic Editor, go to the reset button, that is command button 3. Let's create a variable and make use of the input box. Leave a message and a title if necessary. Then use an if statement to check the value of n. If it is not a null string, then I will need a cell that stores this time in terms of seconds. Let's put it in cell B6. We can use the same formula to extract the time components. Equal and paste it. Remember to update this play button, that is command button 1. Since we have these cells to reference the time, we should update the play button to reference the same cell as well. Instead of using 5 seconds, let's reference the cell. So we have B6 here. Back to reset button and change the time in the text box as well. Instead of a fixed seconds, we should refer to the variable n. Else, if n is a null string, we might want to reference the text box using the cell B6. We can copy the line with the formula that we have previously set. Paste it here. Instead of round the number, we should simply use the number in the cell B6. That is the time that the user previously set. Let's end this if statement with an AND if. Take note that since the timer is now referenced the cell B6, which means that the preset timer is no longer a fixed number. Therefore, we need an adjustment to reflect the correct circular box when the user uses the pause button. The adjustment is simple, that is when n is 0, which means that the timer is just initiated. So we don't need any adjustment here, simply make it 0. However, when n is a number, which means that the user used the pause button, then we need a small adjustment that is simply the preset timer minus n to indicate the times used. Reflect this adjustment to the circular bar. We should put it here. And now the goodie part is done. Let's back to the spreadsheet. Set the time using the reset button. Let's say I want it to be 10 minutes. In the desired format, click on OK. The time is set. Take note that when I reference the cells P6 10 minutes, it's reflected in seconds, that is 600 seconds. Click on Run. The time runs smoothly. Give it a pause and the timer stops. Play again, the timer resumes where it stopped, as we can see here. Okay, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you like this. See you.